Hi, it's me, Annalisa Boyd. I'm an Orthodox Christian wife, mom to 8 kids, bread baker, candy maker, self-proclaimed doula, accidental midwife, and the author of The Ascetic Lives of Mothers, Hear Me, and Special Agents of Christ, all through Ancient Faith Publishing. I am going to talk a little bit today about being the mom of a large family. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we came to the decision to allow our family to expand the way it has. And then I think the next video I will talk a bit about what the heck I do in my home and how do I manage or attempt to manage 8 children, one husband, 6 or 7 goats, a lot of chickens, a ferret, and 2 dogs and a cat. And 5 boys. I mean, there's 5 boys in there. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, so we were not always officially open or thinking about having a large family. And having 3 children where we lived in a very liberal part of Santa Cruz, California, where there were a lot of people who were very zero population growth. And the fact that not only did we have 2, we had 3, that was definitely going over the limit. We had the example from many pastors as well that one didn't really need to have more than a couple kids. Most of the pastors had 2, maybe 3. Most of the pastors also had vasectomies. And so we had never really heard of doing anything else. We thought, hey, two seems like a good idea. And then I got pregnant with number 3. And so I thought, or 3. 3 seems like a good idea apparently, because the Lord has decided that we're going to have 3. And then when I was 6 months pregnant with our 3rd wonderful blessing, we decided that we definitely didn't want more than 3. And so I went along with my husband and I actually witnessed him getting a vasectomy. I know that's strange. I like medical stuff, so I don't know. I found it fascinating. He wasn't nearly as impressed as I was, but that's what we decided to do. And again, we had never heard of any other thing or why you would have more children than what you could afford, or at least that's what we were thinking. So probably a couple years after our daughter was born, we attended a camp, and it was a place where for the very first time we really heard about something called, what was it called? Quiverful. Now, before you freak out or anything, we are not quote unquote quiverful, but it was the first time we'd heard the idea of not deliberately controlling your family size through birth control, which I never used, but through birth control or through having a vasectomy or tubal ligation or anything like that. And again, I am not judging anybody if you've had a vasectomy or tubal ligation. I'm not saying anything about you. This is just our journey. So we thought about that, and it really made sense to us that why wouldn't we be open if children are a blessing, if that's what God calls children, why wouldn't we be open to accepting the blessings that He had for us? So we started thinking about that. We never thought in a million years we'd be able to get a reversal or anything like that because they were expensive. But 9 years after my husband had had his vasectomy, we flew to Texas. He had a reversal, and I witnessed that as well. And I have to say, just witnessing that, he has experienced childbirth because that was excruciating pain. It was very intense. But something, kind of a conclusion we had come to on our own, was that it wasn't about how many children you could have. It was about trusting God, period, with every aspect of our lives. With the quiverful people, many of them very nice people, but many of them, the idea was trying to have as many children as possible, like trying to get pregnant. So on the one side, we had the zero population people who were like, don't get pregnant, don't have children. And then you have the other side saying, have as many children as you can. They're warriors for the Lord. Okay, that's great, but if it's about us trusting God, then shouldn't we let God decide if we have children? So we made the decision. We were supposed to go a couple months after getting the reversal and check to see if it had been successful. But we made the decision that if God was just calling us to be obedient, then we did not need to go and check and see if it was successful. Because either I'd get pregnant or I wouldn't. And that was the point. It wasn't about making anything happen. It was about trusting the Lord. So that's what I understood in my head. But in my heart, I was certain I was going to be pregnant very quickly. And I was so surprised when that didn't happen. I had no problem getting pregnant before. And I didn't get pregnant. And I had to confess that I had made the idea or the dream of getting pregnant a God in my life. And I had to repent of that. And it took a couple years for that not to be my focus every month, wondering if I was pregnant, hoping that I was pregnant, focusing on the idea of being pregnant. And that was really hard. But we never went and found out whether it worked or not. Because again, we're going to trust God. And I've never gotten pregnant. It's been 9 years since we had the reversal. And we are blessed. The Lord decided to bring children to us in a different way. I've taught my daughters and my sons that if we are trusting God with our family size, then that means He may bring us, He may bring us 15 children. He may bring us 2 children, or we may not have children. The point is that we can trust the Lord with everything in our lives. And I have a very unhappy baby right here. So I'm going to stop here and I'll come back with another video on a little bit more about our family, who's in our family, what it looks like, and how we do things like chores and homeschooling and all sorts of different things like that. So I will see you next time, and let us encourage one another in working out our salvation one mommy moment at a time. Have a great day.